The cave was super dark, with only shadows dancing on the rocky walls. The air was cold, hitting his face with a strange dampness, like the mountain itself was whispering old secrets. Every step inside the cave was swallowed by the darkness, making it feel like time had stopped in this lonely place. And the silence was heavy and electric over the mountain of light. No sounds but the mountain's breath. No life but those quiet rocks that had seen centuries of secrets. Outside, distant stars twinkled over Mecca, while everything else was still. Muhammad, a man in his 40s, a trader and a seeker, sat alone, deeply worried about Mecca's idols and its focus on money. His heart was heavy with endless questions, looking for a deeper meaning to life. A truth beyond what people around him were used to. He came here for some quiet time to get away from the noisy markets and the busy city, and to find a refuge for his thoughts in the mountain silence. But tonight, the silence felt charged, as if something big was coming, changing the pulse of the place and filling it with anticipation. The pressure in his chest grew, a powerful presence he couldn't escape. He felt like the walls were closing in on him, and the air was getting heavier and heavier, until every breath was a fight with the unknown. Fear, raw and primal, took over him, while the darkness seemed to take shape around him, turning into a living thing, watching him from every angle. This wasn't normal fear, it was a feeling that something supernatural was about to happen. Suddenly a voice would soon break the silence, commanding him, "Red!" The voice wasn't ordinary. It carried a power that shook him to his core, waking up a fear he had never known before. In that scary moment, one thought kept him steady: Khadijah, his wife, and his safe place. He remembered her warm words, her kind gaze, and how she always believed in him when everyone else doubted. Her memory was a flicker of light in the choking darkness, giving him courage to face what he didn't understand. Her love for him was like a rope, pulling him back to life whenever he felt like he was drowning in the unknown. He didn't know if he was losing his mind or if something divine was touching him. His feelings were a mix of fear and wonder, between wanting to run away and being curious to know what was happening to him. All he knew was that if he could just get home, Khadijah would understand. She always did. He trusted that her big heart would comfort him no matter what he had gone through tonight. The night that would change everything had begun. In this quiet, under this darkness, a moment was born that would reshape the world and open a new door to light. The world was about to be made new, and a story would begin that would live forever in human memory, from the heart of the mountain of light, and from the depths of this dark cave. Long before that night, Khadijah bint Khuwaylid was a legend in Mecca, a wealthy and respected businesswoman known as the Princess of Quraysh. She wasn't just a successful woman for her time, she was a symbol of strength, smarts, and generosity, in a society where it was rare for women to stand out. Her business reached from Mecca to Syria and Yemen. She hired men and managed caravans herself, so her name became known for trust and respect among the top merchants. She had been widowed twice and ran her business empire with honesty and kindness, earning admiration in a world mostly run by men. Her wealth wasn't just in money, but in her good reputation and her sharp way of dealing with everyone, from big merchants to the simplest workers. She was known for her wisdom and fairness, and she never hesitated to help those in need or support the weak. When she heard about Muhammad, the young man called the Trustworthy, she took a chance and hired him for her caravan. He was an honest young man, known only for his trustworthiness and truthfulness. So, she chose him to lead one of her most important trade caravans, even though he was young and had less experience than others. He came back with unheard-of profits and stories about his honesty and kindness. It wasn't just the profits that caught Khadijah's eye, but the testimonies from those who traveled with him about his truthfulness, fairness, and care for everyone's interests, even in the toughest situations. Khadijah listened, realizing she had found a kindred spirit. She saw rare qualities in Muhammad: integrity, compassion, and loyalty. Qualities rarely found together in a man at that time. She wasn't looking for a husband, but in Muhammad, she saw a soul with the same integrity. She felt there was a connection between them that went beyond business interests, a bond of mutual respect and deep appreciation. Their destinies were about to intertwine, beginning a story that would change the course of history forever. Khadijah knew what she wanted, and she had turned down countless suitors. In Muhammad, she didn't see wealth, but character, a partner, not a master. She broke tradition and proposed marriage. Their union was an equal partnership, rare in 7th century Arabia. Khadijah continued to manage her businesses, and Muhammad became her companion and life partner. Their home was a sanctuary of mutual respect and trust. Her support allowed him to pursue his spiritual quest. She believed in him long before prophecy. Muhammad's spiritual longing grew, drawing him to the solitude of the Cave of Hira. Each year during Ramadan, he would retreat there to meditate and pray, seeking answers beyond the chaos of Mecca. Khadijah never questioned his absences. She supported him, packed his provisions, and even climbed the mountain herself. Her visits were a lifeline, moments of shared peace that grounded his search. She understood the depth of his quest, even if she didn't know its destination. Her unwavering faith was his foundation. She was his comfort, his anchor. Together, they faced the unknown. In the last nights of Ramadan, the presence returned, overwhelming, undeniable. The Angel Gabriel appeared, commanding, "Read." Muhammad, scared and unable to read, replied, "I cannot read." 3 times Gabriel hugged him, each time more strongly, until Muhammad asked, "What should I read?" Gabriel recited, "Read in the name of your Lord, who created." The words were carved into Muhammad's heart. The angel disappeared, leaving him shaken and alone. Only one thought remained: to return to Khadijah. Muhammad stumbled back home, his body shaking and his mind racing. Khadijah found him crumbling, whispering, "Cover me, cover me." She wrapped him in a cloak and held him until his fear lessened. Only then did she gently ask him what had happened. He told her about the terrifying encounter, admitting, "I was afraid for myself." Khadijah didn't hesitate. She said, "No, by God, God will never let you down. You keep good family ties, you help the weak, you give to the poor, you welcome guests, and you stand up for what's right." She believed right away. She was the first. Khadijah's belief was instant, but she still wanted to understand what had happened to Muhammad, so she took him to her cousin, Waraka ibn Nawfal, who was a wise Christian scholar. Muhammad described what he saw. Waraka listened, then announced, "This is the same angel, Gabriel, who came to Moses. And he warned, 'Your people will drive you out.'" Muhammad was shocked, but Waraka reassured him, "No one has ever brought what you have brought without being opposed." Waraka's words placed Muhammad's experience in the long line of prophets. Khadijah comforted his heart and strengthened his mind. The message had begun. Together, they faced the world. The hostility came quickly when Muhammad called for one God. The Quraysh elite persecuted the early Muslims. Khadijah's home became their refuge. She spent her fortune to support the believers and free tortured slaves. When a harsh boycott exiled Muhammad's clan, Khadijah, now elderly, endured the deprivation without complaint. She used her last resources to smuggle food and care for the community. Her sacrifice was complete. Status, wealth, health, all for the faith she was the first to embrace. Her strength inspired the beleaguered Muslims. She was the first to show the meaning of true sacrifice. The boycott ended, but its effects didn't just impact the people of Mecca, it also affected the Prophet's household. Khadijah's health got much worse after years of patience and hardship. The difficulties she went through with her husband for the message had worn her out. She passed away shortly after, in Muhammad's arms, the first believer, his partner for 25 years, and his companion through every moment of challenge and hope. Her loss was devastating. That year became known as the Year of Sorrow, as the Prophet lost not only his wife, but also the person closest to his heart and his greatest supporter during the toughest times. Khadijah was his emotional and spiritual fortress, his refuge when troubles grew, and his inner voice that brought him peace and confidence. Even many years after she passed, Muhammad's love for her never faded. He continued to remember her in his gatherings, recalling her noble actions and unforgettable loyalty. He said, "She believed in me when others didn't. She trusted me when others called me a liar. She supported me with her wealth when others held back, and God blessed me with children through her, unlike any other woman." Khadijah was not just emotional support, she was also a generous financial backer, putting everything she owned into serving the message and giving hope to the poor and needy. Khadijah's legacy is not just as the Prophet's wife, but as a co-founder of a global religion and an inspiring leader for women and men alike. She was an example of strength, wisdom, and vision. Her faith was the spark that lit up Islam in the darkest times, bringing light into the Prophet's heart and the hearts of those around him, becoming a symbol of hope and steadfastness. Every prayer today echoes her first act of faith, and every prayer carries the mark of that great woman who believed when everyone else hesitated. Her story proves that movements that change the world begin in the steady heart of a brave woman who simply said, "I believe." Khadijah's legacy will live on forever, inspiring generations and reminding us of the power of faith, love, and sacrifice.